Hi everyone. We're just going to wait about half a minute, let a few more people come in before we start the webinar. So just give it about 30 seconds and then we'll make a start. Okay, I think that most people coming in now. There'll be a few more late entries, but that's fine. We're recording this today. So welcome to NCFE Digital Functional Skills webinar, looking at supporting quality outcomes with our new qualification. Just a couple of housekeeping in a minute. We are recording. We will be sending recordings and the slides out after the session today. And there is a question, a Q&A box on the top of, should be on the top of your team, where you can pop your questions throughout. We will open up a Q&A at the end of the session and answer as many questions as we can. If there's any questions that we can't answer, we will then look to respond to them in the email that comes out after this session ends. So just some introduction. My name's Dave Redden. I am Commercial Manager at NCFE and I've been responsible for the development of digital functional skills, qualification and resources. With me presenting today, I've got Luke Corden from our skills assessment team, and Luke will be covering over the skills builder area later on in the webinar. So just to get started, digital skills. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk over the last few years around digital skills. It's been prioritised by the Department of Education and the government in improving digital skills in the nation. We know there's over 11 million adults who lack the basic essential digital skills to function in work, life, and education. So there's been a big drive to improve that. Around digital skills, there's lots of challenges. It's not just the skills themselves. There's often digital poverty, digital divide, and all those areas. But today we'll be focusing on the digital skills area and how we can support that. So if we go on to the next slide, what I've just done is just touched on a brief slide, really just trying to get you to think about your strategy as a provider. And one of the big challenges we have with adult learners across all areas, but especially with digital skills, is how do we engage them? How do we get the learners to come in and want to do a qualification or want to upskill their levels of skills? So some on the screen there's a few different areas in terms of employers, and in terms of, look at your employers, look at your business as yourself as a training provider or college. What do you do internally? How do you know that your staff are upskilled in digital skills? At NCFE, we'll let everyone do initial assessment, and what that showed was 23% of NCFE staff lacked those essential digital skills. It didn't mean they were rubbish at digital skills. It just means there was areas they could improve on. And out of that, 23%, I think about 47 went on to do a qualification or upskill their learning. And I think it's important for everyone delivering digital skills to do that internal assessment as well, and find out what your skills are. Likewise, go out to employers. There's a market there. Employers have all these a whole host of learners that don't actually realise they need that digital skills, and it's a good way to attract learners in that market. Likewise, for FE colleges, what can you do to educate parents of your students? Obviously, you're going to be targeting the students, but the parents as well are often the ones that lack the digital skills. So thinking about maybe providing awareness campaign, targeted messaging, ensuring they have an awareness of availability of courses and assessments. We do know from the Learning and Work Institute that 3 out of 5 adults don't realise they've got access to free education, to fully funded education. So it's about making that awareness amongst the parents and looking to try and provide a digital skills service for them. Likewise, community learning. I'm a governor at a primary school, and one of the things we do is try and get those parents of learners or those most in need to build their numeracy and literacy skills up. And one of the challenges we got was they weren't engaging with the online resource. And one of that was predominantly because they didn't have the digital skills to be able to improve, to access the resources. So think about that. Think of linking up with them primary and secondary schools and targeting the parents of those children, because they need to improve their digital skills to be able to support their children in their educational journey. That's just a little thing at a high level, just to understand how you can approach this and have a think about it as a company and how you want to attract those learners. From there, we're going to now go on to the actual qualifications. So looking at NCFE Digital Functional Skills, we're going to just really not go too detailed into it. I just want to show you what we offer, what our offer is. Throughout, there's definitely samples and resources we can share and give you access to through the follow-up email. But this is just a high-level look at what we offer. So in terms of the qualification on your screen there, I've split it down into 4 different areas in that circle. For the qualification, the registration, and it's £22.50 per learner. With that registration, you get a lot of support. You got the normal NCFE support, you get the schemes of work, you get onboarding support. You also get access to an online assessment. It's important to note that it's external assessment only for our online assessments. We don't have an internal assessment like we do with essential digital skills. Everything complete within the Surpass system. If the learner was unsuccessful at their first attempt, then there was the option to resit, and we will charge £11.25 per resit. As it's an external assessment and it's all in-house in an external assessment, we can provide remote invigilation for this. Something that came up a lot for essential digital skills. A lot of centres delivering remotely now. And this is one way that you can do that complete end-to-end journey and have that remote invigilation at the end. It's record and review, so that means learners can sit at any point. You don't need to wait for an invigilator to be around and book it in. You can set it up as and when a learner wants to sit, and there's a charge of £37.50 for that. In terms of those results, again, learning from essential digital skills, that obviously if you do an internal assessment, you've got to wait for EQA review. The centre's got to mark them, the centre's got to IQA them. We've removed all that administration for you. Recreate the assessments, your learner sits them and then remark them. And with that, it means that we can issue our results in 6 working days, just like we do for math and English. Naturally, in the early days when new papers have been introduced, there will be a longer lead-in time for that. But once the paper's pass mark has been set, they will carry out in 6 working days. And just to give you an understanding, we'll set, when we're going through awarding, we will set the results release date for that paper, that period, so you'll always know when that result is going to be released. The next slide, just go to look at a bit more detail on what you get in that wraparound support. So as I said, it's external assessment only. It's only available online. That's just the nature of the qualification. Digital skills, it's got to be carried out through a computer. There's no witness observations in our assessments, so there's no need to do any marking outside of the assessment. Everything contained within the assessment and is marked by NCFE. The assessment broken down to 2 sections per assessment. First section will be that knowledge-based question, so it'll be asking you a question and maybe multiple choice answers that the learner has to pick. And the second section will be skills section, so a learner will be given a task where they have to carry out a series of functions that might be sending an email, maybe completing an online form, or altering an image. In entry level 3, the assessment is 1 hour 30 minutes long, with an optional 30-minute break. If you choose, you can just skip straight into the next section in between the section, or you can have that break. At level 1, it's 1 hour 45 minutes. And again, you've got that optional break in between the section. As with our other functional skills, you get free tutor onboarding sessions. So our subject specialists will onboard your team of tutors, give them everything they need to know. That support will continue throughout your journey with digital functional skills, with subject specialists being on hand to provide further support and advise where necessary. There is an on-demand prep to teach sessions already on our website, broken into 4 bite-sized chunks, where it shows you everything you need to teach this qualification. And we will be continuing to having CPD sessions and best practice sessions throughout the academic session that will enhance your teaching delivery. As with all qualifications, there'll be qualification specifications setting out how the qualification should be delivered and what tools you need. There's a schemes of work that plans out over the 5 themes on how to deliver that. And within that, we've also included mapping document for a blended learning session. We did a lot of focus groups on developing this qualification. And one of the things I said is this qualification particularly will be delivered with mixed learning, so entry level 3 and level 1 learners in the same class. So we created these mapping documents with the schemes of work to allow you to deliver a blended learning session across both levels, which will really help end sessions being more engaging. We have the sample assessments online as well for your learners to practice on, as well as also provide an online assessment demo tool, which will allow the learner to play is probably not the right word, but to practice with the different functionality of the assessment, so that not learning for the first time within that sample assessment. I'm now going to just hand over to Luke to let him talk through the skills builder functionality.
Brilliant, thank you for that, David. So the Skills Builder platform is an online initial assessment tool that allows you to find the starting point for your learners and then provide them with resource that upskill them as an individual. If we take a look at the next slide, we'll be able to see everything that's included on the Skills Builder platform. So from a tutor perspective, what you have access to is our quality dashboard, which is an in-depth interactive reporting tool that will show you everything you need to know about your students, the results that they generated initially, any repeat attempts that they did, so you can measure their distance travelled, and progress they've made whilst working on their individualised skills plan. As well as that, what we have as part of the DFS offer is some foundation learning resources. So they're designed to provide extra steps to learners before the initial assessment. They cover the basics and you can take them offline, give them to your students, and they've got a great supporting layer before taking the online initial assessment. So the initial assessment and diagnostic is all included within the platform. The initial assessment will look at all of the topics within digital functional skills, assign an overall working towards level for that student, but also give you a working towards level for each topic. Everybody learns differently and we're all going to have strong points of our knowledge and we're all going to have gaps in our knowledge in different places. The diagnostic does a very similar thing, but it goes into more detail and it will show you on a criteria level exactly where the learner has understanding and where there is a gap in their knowledge. Everything on the platform is marked automatically, so as soon as that diagnostic is completed, it will generate an individual skills plan. Now, the skills plan is a series of resources that are going to help upskill every single learner to achieve their required level. Now, within the individual skills plan, there's a number of resources that are designed to support the students in a practical way. So, for example, we've got interactive PDFs that don't only provide the learner with information about a particular topic, they also allow the learner to answer questions directly in there, providing a focused learning environment for them. As well as that, we've introduced storylines into the platform, which provide an immersive learning experience for the students. It gets them to set up the page to their preference before they start working. And as they go through, they can make numerous changes, again, based on their individual learning style. So that is what we have on the platform. As I said, all automatically marked, so you get to see instant progress within the individual skills plan as well. You can repeat the assessment multiple times to track distance travelled and see that in the quality dashboard. If we move on to the next slide, we're able to provide some visuals as to what that looks like. So in the top left corner, that is an example of the individual skills plan. The learner sees the topics they're assigned to. They can instantly see their progress as they make it, and all they have to do is click one button to be sent in to that learning. On the top right hand corner, we've got an example of the diagnostic result. As you can see, you receive a rank status graph highlighting exactly where the learner was able to evidence understanding and where they may perhaps have a gap in their knowledge. In the bottom left and right corners, we've got examples of the resources. So as you can see in the bottom left, we have an interactive resource there where the learner has to complete work on page whilst doing the resource itself. And in the bottom right, you can see they've got to follow a hyperlink and use a real life scenario in that resource for that immersive learning experience. In the middle, we've got the initial assessment. And as I mentioned, you will see a bit of a spiky profile view in there. Everyone's going to be learning at different levels for different topics. So with the initial assessment and the diagnostic, you get a really good understanding of where that learner is at. You can use the diagnostics for progress in order to track each individual, and the resources are designed to support them. And once they've worked through there, you're able to repeat the process again in order to track the progress. So that is everything from the skills assessment side on skills builder. If we want to go to the next slide, I'll hand back over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Luke. Okay, so with any new qualification, we're aware that resources are often thin on the ground when they first start off, and tutors are left to build their own resources and try and work something up. So one key thing for us was to create a whole suite of teaching resources so that you've already got a full session to cover every part of the subject content statement for each level ready to go. So on the next slide, I'll just break down what we've created for teachers. We've created 28 sessions at each level covering all the learning outcomes. We've also made those PowerPoint slide so that's a session and one PowerPoint slide on a learning outcome. And what we've done is allowed that to be editable, and that's allowed the flexibility for tutor to customize it and make it more engaging for their learner. Well, we'll set an overall context. We'll recognise that in certain areas it need to be changed and broken around just so that the learner is more engaged with it. Within those PowerPoints, we've also embedded videos that are explanatory videos and more engaging videos just to bring the subject to life, to make it relevant and more visual for the learners. And linked in with all that, you've got associated worksheets to support the session. You've got some support material around that really just guides the learner through, and you can track their progress throughout. So you've got 28 sessions at each level, and it covers the entire program, and it's all there. It's almost a pick up and go resource that you can take away and start delivering your learner safe in the knowledge that they'll cover all the qualification aspects. These are paid for resource, we do charge £150 plus VAT per level, but you know, they are really good value, and there is an option to download some samples from our website, which we'll send a link to in a further follow-up email. On the next slide, we're just looking there, and we're just showing again some screenshots. You've got like that workbook type knowledge where it's asking you to put in some questions, answer the question on screen, and learner can feed into a workbook and take that forward. Got an example of what the PowerPoint slide looked like, and a bit of the scheme. There's a session plan for that session, and one of the videos there that'll be used within their session. So more than happy to have a look at that in a bit more depth, but you know, we have everything covered for you, and it's there ready to go should you need it. Now, those are all the individual components that make up that qualification, but one of the things that we recognise is, you know, while they're all individually priced, it can be a lot of expense upfront for our centre. So we want to make it something affordable for all. So next slides, I'm just going to show you how we've done this. And we've created an all-in-one offer. So what we've done is you can buy this qualifications by yourself, you can buy skills builder by yourself, you can buy teaching resources by themselves, or you can buy all three. What we've done is made a package deal where we give you everything we've just gone through in one price, in one place, for £25 registration fee per learner. So for that £25, you get initial and diagnostic assessments, you get them teaching resources and the learn resources on Skills Builder. You get the tutor support, you get the onboarding, and you get the on-demand assessment and the fast results. You do get RI, but you don't get that included with the price. That is still separate outside of that £25 registration fee. You still have to pay extra for that, but you will get that option to link in with RI still. But you get all the assessment, you get the initial assessments and diagnostics, the external assessment, all the resources and all the tutor support for £25 per learner. The only thing that sits outside that is your resit and your RI. On the next slide, we just break that down in the full detail. You know, you get one product, one price for one, that provides one solution. So that whole learner journey is covered from end to end, a complete end-to-end product. You get that initial assessment and diagnostics, you get that individual skills plan and learn resources, you get the full suite of teaching resources, you get that quality dashboard that monitors learner progress, gives you that Ofsted level reporting. You get the registration and certification for the qualification. You get that onboarding support and the follow-up CPD support and the best practice and ongoing support. You get your results in 6 working days and a certificate at the end of it, and you automatically get that certificate if that learner passes. So you get everything complete in one go, and that's all for £25 for a learner. You pay per learner, and that includes Skills Builder. I see a question there from Lisa. That everything on that screen you get for £25 per learner. And so you don't have to pay that upfront cost for the resources or for Skills Builder. You get it per learner. So that for those smaller centres that might only have 10-20 learners, it's £25 a learner. For those bigger centres, it's still £25 a learner. Still a fantastic deal, and it helps you manage expectations, and you don't overcommit to something. You get everything upfront, and you all have access to that support. Just to give you a few updates to wrap it up before we go into them questions. If you have got any questions, probably a good time as well to start putting them in the chat box. But for the updates, we can just move next slide. You know, just to bring you up to speed of what we're in, we're now gone live the qualification. The qualification is live for registration, been live since the 1st of August. We are doing monthly drop-in sessions with our subject specialist now, and that's just a monthly session where you can just drop in, ask questions around the delivery, ask questions around the support, and just understand more about best practice and how you support that. The sample assessments and demo tools are live on our website. You can go in, have a play around the sample assessment, understand it in a bit more detail. You can also make registration and book your learner now for live assessments. That's all available. In the first assessments, exciting news for us, definitely to get to the stages. First assessments will be staffed from 1st of November. So we've had that run-in period where we've allowed delivery across the board, but then now learner can start sitting. So it's going to be great to see learners starting to sit those assessments and seeing that some of them start achieving. We will issue the first results in the 19th of December. So again, what I was talking about the results, that first instance, what we need to do is set a pass mark based on live learner data. We can't just preset that pass mark at OPQual requirements. But, you know, from 1st of November, your learners can sit. But we are saying you will, it doesn't matter when you sit from the 1st of November, if it's the 1st of December, all learners will receive their results on the 19th of December. So you can see in advance, you can tell your learner when they're going to be able to receive their results. And from that 19th of December, once we've set that pass mark, then we'll go into six-day turnaround for the results. So if you sat, I'm going to get confused now looking, but if you sat on the 5th of January, you know, you will get your results 6 days following that. Normally even the Wednesday, you get the results the following Wednesday. So that's everything there. There's some website details on there where you can click and see our digital functional skills page and get a bit more information. You can book a skills builder demo if you want to see that what looks demonstrated there in more details. It'll take you through everything that you need to know. There's also an email address on there that you can get in touch if you want to speak more about the packaged offer, you want to know more about the skills builder, etc. Get in touch. We're more than happy to answer your questions and talk further. But that's all from our side for now. I'm just going to open up any questions. So if you have got any questions, do put them in the chat.